one. So I went to a Nerf battle over the weekend with my local gaming group that I've found. Had a lot of fun, and I tried to videotape take some footage of some of the battles that we did, and unfortunately my camera failed on me and I had nothing to show for it. So I was kind of disappointed about that, but I thought that I could at least go over some of the gear that I used. I got to unpack it anyway, so I thought maybe I'd go over it. So I did bring a hydration pack. Didn't really need it. It was like 72 degrees and really nice, but I didn't have it, so I just kind of had it at our little station and would just take a sip out of it every now and then. Just a backpack with a platypus bag. Always nice to have water. So gear-wise, I'll go over stuff that didn't really get used too much and then work up to what I actually used. Some Boomco stuff, so Boomco darts, AccuStrike / AccuFake darts. I did bring a light command that I just picked up. Oops. Which is not firing now, that's weird. There it goes. It's loud. I originally brought this for my buddy to use because I knew he was coming out, but then he got a hold of a very straightforward modified stripe and instantly wanted to use this instead, so the light command didn't actually get used. He used the stripe. This is the Boomco camera that I tried to use with the mount. The mount worked fine. For whatever reason, my camera refused to work, so unfortunately, no footage. I'll try again next time. I used a Braden Sentinel I got in one round, but I found that indoors or mess around with it, the Sentinel's great. Outdoors, unmodified, it just did not have the range to compete. There was a guy using the Caliburn. There were other people using modified stripes, and this just could not cut it as far as range. So unfortunately, this didn't get a lot of use, and I think I'm going to have to mod it and do some tweaking to it to get to the point where I can use it. But still a fun blaster. Then I think we're getting down to what I actually used. This is a double springed hammer shot with like limiters removed and whatnot. My buddy used it in the pistol rounds. I don't want to dry fire it because it does have everything removed. But I don't know what the specs are, but it does have a double spring inside it. I used another hammer shot spring. Works pretty well, has pretty good pop. The pistol rounds, I actually used an M6, which is also double springed. He was going to triple spring it, but 2 was more than enough, and I attached some nice grip tape to it. I wanted to keep it kind of stylized, but that's more than enough, and I tend to kind of grip it like that, or here, which is enough there's enough grip there for me to get a hold of it. Found that this part, the guard, was actually kind of annoying, just as a side. I kept trying to grab it and force my hand in there. This doesn't feel right. So I think I am actually, like a lot of people have done it, I'm going to cut this off now that I've actually used it some. Another guy had an M6 that I think had a K26 in it, and the two of us actually kind of dominated a lot with those. We actually had a round where two of us, we'd eliminated everyone but one person on the other team, and he basically tapped out because he didn't have the range. Even though he had a modified strife, he didn't have the range to compete with these, and he just didn't want to get sniped to death and shot with these. My core rig that I used actually wound up being, I don't have like a chest rig, so I've been using this, which is a side rig. So I wound up using this, which generally had 20, 218s, and a 12 in it. And then my blaster was my America blaster, which I've done a lot of videos on, more than I probably should have. So I usually would start with the 25 in it, and then when that was out, drop it and grab one from my pack. Again, we're kind of a small group, so I didn't need a ton of ammo. I generally only went through a couple clips at a time. This did really well. This is definitely my new favorite. I love the size, I love the form factor. I've done a video on it before, but I did a rewire. It's got Michel 2.0 motors in it. I run it off of two basic IMRs. And it's got Worker flywheels. So this did really well. It was accurate, had good range. It's not, it's not going to outrange a Caliburn or anything like that, but I could, get a good rate of fire off of it. It was very accurate with the AccuStrike darts. This is my new favorite, definitely. With a 1-point sling that I would wear. The other thing I wore, and it didn't come into play until the very end, but when it did come into play, it was really handy, is I had cut down Rapid Madness, which I wore kind of off-slung on my other shoulder. The last round that we did was two teams on either end and kind of holding a central point that had some cover around it. And I was able a couple times to basically just run in there and spray fire with this using a 40 round or a 40 dart clip. And that worked really well. Being able to just go in there and hose people down with this really cleared the area out to let my team come in and win. Anyway, so I was really happy with this. That is basically it. The rest is just magazines. I had a holster. That's it. What a lackluster ending.